Hey, Sledge Do Buckaroos, how the heck are you? Late night on a Saturday, so I didn't do my typical Friday video because I worked today. And it's a long day, Fridays and Saturdays, so I didn't drink last night. But I thought I'd jump on here since I am off tomorrow. And tomorrow is actually my mug day. I have my mug day, baby. I have a mug at the Springfield Brewing Company here in town. And so your mugs are numbered, and then you have your day when the day of the year corresponds with your mug. So my mug is number 53. So the 53rd day of the year, the 53rd day of the year. So you have a special day. So you have $1 or $2 beers, depending on what you order. Some of the specialties they charge you too. Kind of depends who the bartender is, though. If they know you, they just hit it in. But nevertheless, hope I just didn't get somebody in trouble. Anyways, I digress. Let me set this down. Sometimes I pour the stuff and take pictures before I start the video. I didn't today because getting off to a later start than typical Saturdays. You can't get out early because you always gotta sweep, but you have to mop, so you gotta put the chairs up, get everything. That takes a little bit longer, so I didn't get home as early as I would have hoped. So I just set this one up quick off the cuff. I grabbed a beer, grabbed a glass, grabbed a shot glass, and let me pour this, and then I'll talk about it with you. I did fix a cocktail real quick. I have it prepped. So I will grab it later, but we're going to do the beer and whiskey first, starting with the beer, the Resistance, a Pilsner for true patriots from Minocqua Brewing Company. They do some great stuff, and what I like about them is they stand for something. They stand for decency. And they're against our current fascist regime, so that's good enough for me. 4.8%. Let me show you that. I'm not going to read the story today. I've read it before, but I will show that back to you if you want to, pause that and enlarge it if you want to read it later, or just look up their website. It tells you everything you want to know. Believe it or not, I work around beer all day and I don't drink it. And I will be honest with you, if 30-year-old Tom worked at a brewery, he probably would be drinking all day long. 60-year-old Tom's a little bit smarter. And I never have anything to drink until I've got the money counted. Sometimes I'll pour myself a beer before I shut everything down, put it off to the side, and once I have my money counted, I go ahead and then I can drink a little bit as I'm finished the rest of the stuff. But today I just wanted to get home, so I was just trying to get everything done. Oh, there we go. Get the rest of that in there. Let's see. Let's grab a handy whiskey. And some of you are going to cringe on what I'm about to do. I don't care. I don't care, man. So I've got the Buffalo Trace. Actually, I've had this one for a minute. When I say minute, I got it on my birthday last year, so May. So I've had it for a while because I buy a lot of small craft distillery products. I tend to drink them first, so these kind of get pushed to the back. But I'm getting low on it. I probably need to finish it up, as you can see there. I'm going to pour nice. This is a shot and a quarter glass, so I'm going to get it close to the top there. And as I'm getting ready for St. Patrick's Day, because, as soon as it hits March, we start celebrating St. Patrick's Day here at our house. In fact, we're already semi-decorated because there's certain things we leave up year-round. Certain decorations. Yeah, we're a little kitschy around here. I bet the only art we own is from our daughter and grandkids. And it's kind of become a thing. I intentionally won't buy anything now. Well, if I did, I wouldn't hang it in the house because it would, would mess with the theme we got going on. We've got art done by our daughter and both of our grandkids in here. And then I also got two pictures I got from a concert, just like a teenager, right? But I got the meet and greet, and it's all signed and everything from Saxon and Uriah Heep. They actually played in town here on my 59th birthday. So I got good seats and did the extra VIP meet and greet. It was really cool. Anyway, reliving my youth a little bit, I suppose. And for the total package, it wasn't bad. It was about $200. A little theater here in town. The seat I got was about it was in the third row, just slightly to the right. So it wasn't dead center, but it was a really good seat. And the meet and greet package was kind of cool, and they gave you some goodies to take home. But like I said, the total was about 200. So I tried to get in to get tickets. When I got there, well, actually, before I did that, I asked my wife, I said, do you mind if I do this? Because it's right on my birthday, but it's going to cost this amount of money. Is that okay? And she says, do I have to go? I said, no. She says, then you can do it. But I feel guilty spending that much on myself. So, but it was a lot of fun. Kind of because I saw Saxon 100 years ago. Well, at that time it was only 40 years ago, but it was with their first tour. So this was their 40th anniversary. So man, it kind of meant something to me. And it was Saxon Uriah Heep, and I really like Uriah Heep as well. And I'll be honest with you, neither band has probably hit my top three, but I enjoyed both. So if they weren't playing directly on my birthday, I probably wouldn't have went. But since they were right on my birthday, I said, what the heck? Hey, Randy, how are you, man? So since I said, Randy, if you're still with me, if you're still there, Randy, if you have any questions or comments, but go ahead and throw it up there. If you're not being an asshat, I'll post it. If you are, I won't. Anyways, this was, like I said earlier, this was my first alcohol of the day. It's a long day. I don't typically work the Friday and Saturdays back to back because they're 10+ hour days. So that kind of hurts the old bones a little bit. So, but I like I said, I am off tomorrow. So anyway, I'm gonna go classic Boilermaker with this one. That's why I said some of you might cringe when I have the Buffalo Trace, but I want a good whiskey, not rot gut. Some call this a depth charge, and that's not necessarily wrong, but it is. It is. It's also classically it is Boilermaker anyway. So there you go. Oh, mercy. That'll get things going. That'll get things started, man. Anyways, okay, I gotta jump off camera real quick, grab that cocktail. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right. So almost every cocktail I do, almost every, uses the Manhattan or an old fashioned as a template. And some of you might think that's the same thing, but here's where I divide it. Right. So a Manhattan. What is a Manhattan? Manhattan is your whiskey, sweet vermouth, and bitters. What is an old fashioned? Old fashioned is a whiskey, your simple and bitters. So if I use another liqueur, or if I take the sweet vermouth out and use a liqueur or something else alcoholic, then that's the Manhattan template. But if I just replace the simple, it's an old fashioned template. So this one, what I've done here is I had just a bit of this stuff left, so I really needed to finish it up. This is a St. Elmo Cherry Vanilla Bourbon. So I thought about a couple different things. I thought about going chocolate, but I've done that before, and I decided to keep it even simpler than that, and just go build on the cherry theme. So I used that whiskey, that cherry vanilla whiskey, and then I just added about half ounce of the Luxardo cherry liqueur. And then I used cherry bourbon bitters. So I just built upon the cherry thematics, if you will. Oh, that is nice. I thought about doing what I do upon occasion, do an aperitif followed by a digestive. But I really was. Sometimes I really want a martini, but I wasn't feeling martini. It's late in the night. I'm tired. I wanted more of a comforting cocktail, and that's how that works for me. If I'm feeling invigorated, then a martini really sounds good. It's a nice after work cocktail if you're not dead ass tired. If it's not midnight, but I wanted something kind of relaxing, something to help me kind of just wind down and call it an evening. It's an evening. So I took a look at what whiskeys I have open, and I've said in other videos, I've been trying to finish some stuff off. So I said, oh yeah, let's kill this cherry vanilla. It's an 88 proof whiskey, by the way, out of Indiana. It's made for the St. Elmo's restaurant. And it is for a flavored product, it is done rather well. I use the Luxardo cherry liqueur, and it really brightens everything up. And then the cherry bourbon bitters. Oh, that's just nice, man. Oh, so I can't say it's been a long week because it really hasn't been. It's been an interesting week, right? So typically I work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, like clockwork, and sometimes I pick up another day. But I had jury duty on Tuesday, so I had to have a coworker cover my shift for Tuesday. So I ended up working Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to get the 4 days in. But like I said, Friday and Saturday are 10 between 10 to 10 and a half hour days. And that kind of hurts an old man, 2 in a row. Just glad I'm off tomorrow. But then tomorrow is my mug day, as I was explaining earlier. It's funny. I kind of, so when I first got that mug back in 2018, I just started working downtown where that brewery is. So I said, this is perfect. I get off work, go there, and it worked. It was about a half-mile walk. So I get off work, walk there. My wife would pick me up about 2 hours later, right? It was nice. But I'm no longer working downtown. So I kind of debated about if I should keep it or not. Because, last year I don't know that I even went a dozen times, to be honest with you. I don't go out all that much anymore. But I decided to go ahead and keep it, because when I am able to go there, when I am able to go there, I want to know I've got that mug there. So sometimes it doesn't show up right on the screen. So I have my other tablet. I've got my tablet over here so I can check to see what the angle is on it, because it's really hard to tell, man. Anyways, So anyway, assuming I'm still able to get there tomorrow, barring some tragedy, it'll only be the second time I've been there this year. So, and you really, if you've got a mug club, if you don't go once a week, you're probably not going to get your money back out of it. But I don't look at it quite that way, to be honest with you. Like I said, when I am able to get there, I want to have the mug. So I have a mug at a couple different places, and I don't get to any of them as often as I should, or we get to make it pay, I guess. But I got them at my favorite places. So when I do get there, like I said, I want to have that mug. And one of the places, last year I only went there twice. So it really didn't pay me to have the mug, but I do get to keep the mug, and I got a T-shirt. So, and I really love the place. So, like I said, I only have mugs at my favorite places, and I just don't want to lose any of them now. Because once you get the mug, right, sometimes it's hard to get it, but once you get it, renewal is easy, right? You just have to renew. You don't have to, hope you're one of the chosen few, right? So now I got to keep renewing. Because the Springfield Brewing Company downtown, there's another brewery downtown called Home Fast where I have a mug, and I thought about giving that one up too. Because of my schedule, I can't get there as much as I want to either. But I do like the beer and the space. So when I can get there, I like to know I have that mug handy. I like to know it's there, man. I've got another mug at a brewery that's about an hour and 15 minutes from where I live. So obviously I don't get there often. When I got the first year I got it, I was able to get there more often. And one of the reasons I was really glad I had it was my brother happened to be in town for a sad reason, but he was in town, and I was able to take him there. But I just can't give it up now. Like I said, I mean, last year I only went there twice. I don't know how many times I'll get there this year. Hopefully more than twice. But again, I really love. So it's not just about having the mug, because I like having a mug, as I've said. That's not just about saving money or getting a bigger pour. It's about supporting the breweries that you like. And that's that one in particular, even though I know I'm never going to get there more than probably a half a dozen times a year, I want to keep that one as long as I can because I love the people that own it. I like what they do, and I want to support that business. Oh, man, that is a nice cocktail. That really is. I'm not always the best. So typically, like I said, I've added creme de cacao in there to go be that cherry chocolate thing, and I almost did. In fact, I had the bottle in my hand. I said, no, I don't want to go chocolate. I ain't feeling chocolate. So I said, well, I knew I had the Luxardo, so we're just gonna build on the cherry theme. So I used about 2.5 ounces of that bourbon, maybe a little bit more actually, and then about a half ounce of the Luxardo cherry liqueur, a few dashes of cherry bourbon bitters, and we really just wanted to build on that cherry note. Mercy. So I try not to miss my mug days. I did miss my mug day the first year I worked at the brewery because I didn't think to ask for it off, and I just started with the I'd only been there a short time. So I said, "Oh, damn!" But then since then I make sure I have it. In fact, before I got called for jury duty, I was going to work my typical Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And I got called for jury duty, so then I was just Monday, Thursday, and Friday. But then the coworker that worked Saturdays had something come up all of a sudden. He asked if I'd pick it up. I said, well, yeah, why not? Because I was missing a day. So I kind of made, got my schedule back to, I like to have at least 4 days on there. So anyways, I digress. I probably rambled on more than I need to. I am Tom, the beer whisperer, beer evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and I'm also Tom, the whiskey whisperer, man, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, man. Oh, biscuits. Man, that is good. All around good guys, lunch. Thanks for tuning in, guys.